Howdy, howdy, and welcome. Greetings and salutations. It is I, Rockett Man, and this is the World According to Rockett, the Tennessee VOLS edition, dark mode. This episode of the official relaunch of the podcast, which started 5 years ago, when I was leading the charge to get rid of this buffoon, who probably was the worst coach ever of our beloved volunteers. I'm going to give credit where credit is due. He was very good at one thing, trying to explode his head from the inside. He never completed the act, thankfully, on the field anyway, but I understand he's still trying at Arkansas State, where he is now the head coach there. Now, I'm sure his mom and daddy love him. His family love him. I'm sure he's rolling in the dough due to the abject stupidity of the Tennessee administration at the time. But that's all done and over. Spilt milk. Praise the Lord. Pass the grenades. Now then, I only bring that up to give you context for this podcast, because shortly after I launched the podcast 5 years ago, there were some health issues that ensued, causing me to have to put it on the back burner, which eventually culminated in the dreaded triple coronary bypass surgery. Yes, it hurt like a mother. I don't recommend it unless it's absolutely necessary. But today is my 9-month heart anniversary. Let's give me some love, right? Come on. Come on. Let's give me some love right now. Come on. Everybody. Damn, that hurt. Anyway. So I kind of figured, seemingly, 9 months is kind of an appropriate gestational period to get my health back and therefore relaunch the podcast. And something that you should know as well, I would have relaunched it at the beginning of the season, but there was a problem with the surgery in that they shoved this giant HVAC hose down your throat, down your gullet. They intubate you. And evidently, my delicate little throat couldn't take it. and I lost my voice for like 6 months. I mean, it was horrible. I mean, I talk like Jack Bauer. I couldn't talk, but I could do a podcast. I mean, if I wanted to whisper, I could have, but I didn't, so I didn't. Anyway, I kind of like talking like Jack Bauer. Okay, so, but now it's cleared up. After about 6 months, it cleared up, and I'm ready to go. So there's the disclaimer for this podcast. I only have one thing to say. Let's go, Volunteers.
Chase McGrath for the win for the Volunteers. From 40, on the way, a knuckleball. He got it! And here they come.
Okay, now I'm going to get to Kentucky in a minute, but what a great night that was. I mean, it was fantastic. It was awesome. Now, but here's what I'm hearing that's making me very annoyed, all right, on Big Orange social media, all right? It's feeling like, I'm hearing, it's feeling like 98 again. I feel like 98. Oh, we're going to win this. Shut up. Shut up. Really, seriously. Shut up. This is not anything like 98, okay? I was there. I was there in Tempe at Sun Devil Stadium in the Fiesta Bowl on the field with them, a credentialed broadcaster, when they won that national championship and went 13-0. Now, this is not a knock on the 98 champs, not at all. Huge T. Martin fan. Of course, huge Peyton Manning fan, right? But I've been a diehard bleed orange VOLS fan for over half a century. I've seen them come, I've seen them go, I've seen them suck hind teat, and I've seen them soar to the heights of the elite. Now, what we're seeing here in 2022, as opposed to the 1998 version of the VOLS, this Heupel regime, this Danny White and Josh Heupel regime, is potentially the most prolific college offense that I have ever seen personally. And the scary part is the offense is they're not even matured yet. They're still learning. And they're not playing with the best talent yet. Right? I mean, they had 35 players transfer out here when Josh Heupel came. He's put this together with spit and rubber bands. And I don't think anybody can currently stop this offense. And it's not a fluke. And I predict that more and more teams are going to try to start running this sort of offense, and you're already seeing it a little bit with the very, very, very wide double receivers on the boundaries. The thing is, see, you need a quarterback who can do that. You need a quarterback who is teachable to do that from the ground up. And you need a quarterback whisperer like Josh Heupel. And there's only one Josh Heupel around. There is indeed a new sheriff in town.
I just think, first of all, you got to add up a few things for you, Pat. Tennessee's scoring 47 a game. There's never been more belief and excitement on Rocky Top since Peyton and T. Martin were here. It's been a long drought. They are as hungry as they've ever been, and probably the most underrated home field advantage, not just in the SEC, in the country, and it's great to see them back. With that in mind, there they are. With that in mind, Alabama comes in here limping. You see them against A&M. If there's ever a time that you want Alabama, it's right now. But the history lesson here says that when Alabama comes in limping, you think they're vulnerable. We can get them. Alabama, you can't fool me. Alabama shows up today and mysteriously and miraculously looks like Alabama. Alabama beats Tennessee.
So when I was 21 years old, Coach, I was drafted to a football team in the middle of America that I could have never imagined going to. It was the Indianapolis Colts. Their quarterback was the man with the massive cranium, the massive head,
the sheriff,
and the incredible ability to play quarterback. And I had no real allegiance to the beautiful Knoxville, Tennessee. Then we won our first away game. And on that plane, Peyton One took his phone, put it right next to the speaker on the plane, and the only thing that was blaring is, Rocky Top, you'll always be home sweet home to me. Good old Rocky Top, Tennessee. And since that moment, and since eating at Gus's Deli yesterday, and since Peyton is back, and Heupel's got him going, and Hooker's a guy, give me Tennessee by a million.
Good pick. Outstanding, Pat. I knew bringing you here 12 years ago, I kind of trained you, fitted you with some Tennessee swag. Kirk, I'm disappointed. Obviously, Kirk's tired from all that scoring the past couple Thursday nights. Got some great country music singers in town. Kenny Chesney's in town. Morgan Wallen's in town. Morgan Wallen has a great song, Reese. It's called You Proof, right? Tennessee needs something Alabama-proof. We haven't had it in 15 years, but I think we have it now. His name is Hendon Hooker. He is the new sheriff in town. I'm going with the Tennessee Vols. I'm putting on a hat like you do. Tennessee Vols in a close one today, Coach.
Hey, that's your knee. There you go.
Okay, let's get to the game. Let's look at Kentucky and Tennessee. Kentucky's got a good football team. They've got an okay offense. They've got some very talented players on offense, but I wouldn't call it a great offense by virtue of the fact that they score 26 points a game. That's it. They've got a good defense, top 10 defense in the country. Tennessee, on the other hand, has a monster offense with an improving defense each week. I've been impressed with that. Cedric Tillman is back, perhaps the best receiver in the nation. He's back from his ankle surgery of 6 weeks ago. Jalen Hyatt may argue about the best receiver in the country. I don't know. Tennessee's a 12-point favorite. I think that line is weak. I think they should be a 21-point favorite. All season long, Kentucky has been portrayed as the boogeyman. Ooh, the boogie. The problem is, they don't have boogeyman numbers, man. They just don't. Let's look at the numbers. Okay, we got Tennessee and Kentucky. Points per game, 43-20. Self-explanatory. Tennessee has the edge. Points against per game. Kentucky gives up 21. Tennessee gives up 31. Turnovers. Tennessee has a plus 1.2 advantage in the turnovers. Penalties. Kentucky wins that little nod there. 35 yards a game in penalties. Tennessee 77. Here is the interesting thing, though. This is strength of schedule. Tennessee has almost a touchdown tougher strength of schedule. Okay? The line is, of course, 12, minus 12. Best case scenario, 49-21. Worst case scenario, 37-31. And a probable scenario, 43-26. I'm not going to give you my math because then you know how I think. I don't want you to know that. But I'm telling you, my prediction is this. Tennessee wins 49-31. Now, these are the three reasons the VOLS will slay Kentucky tomorrow night. Number one, the numbers, which I just pointed out. Number two, the crowd at Neyland Stadium. Kentucky will have the same reaction and response that Alabama had in that stadium. Oh, Alabama is the seasoned professionals. Nick Saban and his staff, they're impervious to all the college craziness that goes on in stadiums. They can't be bothered with that. They're Nick Saban. Satan. Well, let me tell you something. They were visibly affected in that game 2 weeks ago. And it will be worse for Kentucky because they're not used to seeing what they're walking into. They, like Bama, will never have seen anything like this before coming into that Neyland Stadium and that crowd. It will allow the Vols to get a fast start. And it will put Kentucky in a catch-up mode. Kentucky is not a catch-up football team. They're just not. They're not built for it. And the third reason is this. The dark mode. This is so good, man. Let me tell you something. Danny White is a freaking genius. He is so good. He is so good at what he does. He's as good as what he does, at what he does, as Josh Heupel is at what he does. This is just Butch and Sundance right here, man. These guys are so good together. It is amazing. Tennessee wins 49-31. Tennessee covers the 12 points. And it's going to be a great night in Knoxville. I don't believe the goalposts will come down this weekend. They've got that out of the system, but it's going to be a great game. I'm telling you, it's going to be fantastic. It starts at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Unfortunately, it's on. Well, actually, I don't know where it's on. I don't know whether it's on CBS or. ESPN. I think it's on ESPN, actually. Thank God. We don't have to mess with that stupid broadcasters on CBS. God, I hate those guys. They're just terrible, Gary Danielson. I mean, they're bad. How have these people held a job for this long? They suck. Sure, I'm a little jealous. Put me in, coach. I'm ready to broadcast it. Thank you so much for being on the lookout for me and all the kind words, getting back to my health and getting back to the podcast. I appreciate you and go Big Orange. We'll see you on Sunday or Monday on the wrap-up show.
Wish that I was on old Rockett Top.
Walker throws, end zone, touchdown! Cedric Tillman.
Down in the Tennessee hills.
Got a man out there. Oh, what a catch! Diving catch by Keaton.
Ain't no smoggy smoke on Rockett Top.
Pressure up the middle. And Jaden Daniels never had a chance.
Ain't no telephone bills.
Chase McGrath for the win for the Volunteers. From 40. On the way, a knuckleball. He got it!
You'll always be home, sweet home to me. Rockett